Hello, welcome. Today we have a VOD review on Hanamura. Looks like a Diamond Masterish level game. Okay, we got a Zarya player here. So I've never seen this video before, so I'll be commenting in real time. You're running 2 healers, 2 tanks, 2 damage dealers. Sombra, interesting. I haven't really seen Sombra on attack on Hanamura before, but I imagine she's going to try to get past her opponents, get behind enemy lines, and then kind of flank from there. Okay, cool. We'll see how this plays out. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss. I don't really like this team for Hanamura. I prefer really, really hardcore divey comps for at least for point A to break it. I really like Pharah. I like Genji. I like Tracer. I like Winston. I like Diva. These healers are fine. Actually, any of the healers can work in the dive comp, in my opinion. But yeah, so I'm not really a fan of any of these heroes, except for maybe the Zarya. That's probably the only character I'm okay with. So you guys are going to have a hard time breaking the choke if they elect to hold that choke, which for Hanamura is a pretty smart way to defend, in my opinion, is to hold that choke, actually. Or at least to put pressure on it. Okay.
3, 2,
Let's see what happens.
1. Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Just a scratch. You're going to be okay. Down cover.
So you kind of used your bubbles a little early, and as you can tell, when like the fight's starting, you have no cooldowns here and 6 energy. So I think you're anticipating the Symmetra to do more damage, but I need you to be a little bit more reactive with your bubble. So you're kind of predicting something to happen, but nothing was coming. So I need you to improve your game sense about that, about like when you're going to take damage or not, because that's going to super elevate your gameplay as Zarya if you can anticipate damage properly and therefore build up your energy. So this was a pretty big blunder already, and it slowed down your push. Tree's dead. So aside from that, I don't blame your gameplay too much. Your guys' comp is just really weird. You did get a kill on Reinhardt, though, so that's good. Oh, you're being way too aggressive. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, way too aggressive. You were disrespecting all their damage. So you had an opportunity after you killed Reinhardt, like maybe... No, actually at that point it's too late. After you killed Reinhardt, you had an opportunity to just back up and wait for cooldowns, wait for respawns, because when you're on attack on a point A for most maps, because you have the defender, the spawn advantage, and this isn't true for all the maps, but for this map it's definitely true. If you get the last kill in a fight, let's say you wiped, like, let's say everybody died, or actually that's extreme. Let's say 5 people died on your team, and then at the very end you got a kill on one of their players. That is actually, I wouldn't say that's a good trade, but in terms of timing on that next push, it's going to be a 6v5 in your favor. So because you had just killed Reinhardt, all you needed to do was wait, and then for this next push, you would have had 6 members, and they would have been down without a Reinhardt. So you really screwed up, actually, by dying there and getting over-aggressive after that kill. I know you were looking for more kills, but you guys had already lost, I think, 2 or 3 members. You didn't have a ton of energy, and you were just totally disrespecting their Reaper, their Symmetra, their Zarya, and whoever else they had. So yeah, cool. So 2 big mistakes so far. You used bubbles too early, and then you got a kill on Reinhardt, but then you threw it away by dying shortly afterwards.
Go on point, go on point.
Party on the...
Your team broke the choke, though. That's good. That's because Reinhardt wasn't there. That's a good bubble. That's a good bubble. Oh, you almost have him? Oh, you almost had him. Ooh. That Ana was putting in work healing you. That was unfortunate. Maybe with slightly better aim, you could have killed him. I'm not quite sure. But it's fine. That would have been a nice kill. Okay. Cool. Oh. So, actually, I would have liked for you to bubble him, like, now. Like, maybe right there. As soon as you saw Hanzo was attacking him, feel free to bubble. Instead, you waited till he was out of line of sight. Although I do think you get energy out of it.
Get in there.
Oh, no, that's you. That was your bubble. So again, your bubble usage needs some work, which is critical to good Zarya play. Otherwise, you'll never have you'll never have high energy, and you'll never be saving your teammates. Like that bubble. I'm not a big fan of that bubble either. Yeah, it's not a horrible bubble because he is in line of sight, but I don't know, like, I think there's better opportunities you could save it for. Like, Reinhardt charges and Roadhog hooks. I don't think they have a Roadhog, but, just things like that. And I'm not saying that you have to save it always for those moments, but there's not a really good reason to bubble McCree there. Specifically, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of it. And I'm not a Zarya player. She's probably, in terms of the tanks, she's probably the tanks I've played the least. So maybe another Zarya could give you more feedback on the mechanics of bubble and when to use it and when to save it.
They must have a teleporter.
Still got that Hanzo over there being a pain in the ass. Oh, they tagged it. Bubble, that's a good bubble. Nice.
The Reaper, punish him.
Από πίσω.
Actually, yeah, and you got no charge out of that bubble, so what do I know? Maybe that wasn't a good bubble, but again, she's my least played tank out of all the tanks, so. Okay. You guys got 4 ults,
on one hit.
and yours is coming up soon. You could snowball this win. Unfortunately, your team's already a little bit too far ahead of you. I would have liked for them to wait just a little bit longer to get a more coordinated push, but whatever. Yeah, so again, that bubble didn't seem like it was so great. I like this Graviton. I do like this Graviton.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Good, that's a good bubble.
One hit.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So, you got their Dragon Strike, you got their Graviton. Unfortunately, you guys blew everything. Let's actually look at that Graviton. I thought it was a pretty good one because you guys, you killed Hanzo, then you got Ana, then you got Reaper. Your McCree died, but this was actually winnable. I'm curious as to what happened here. It just feels like you guys lacked a lot of damage. Huh. Okay. So, and you have a Roadhog. Okay. We'll let that slide. In my opinion, that was still a good Graviton. It just felt like maybe your team couldn't follow up properly. It was actually really sucky that McCree had just died before you Graviton. Yeah. Okay.
Group up with me.
That's a good bubble. Just saving him.
Το πρόβλημα είναι πως δεν το...
At least I thought that was a good bubble. He could have been in danger of dying there, so I still stand by that. I think that was a good bubble. But yeah, so far your energy has been really low. And again, as a player, as someone who doesn't really play Zarya very much, I probably can't give you the rather the thinking about how to get higher energy. So I'll try to comment on that later. I'll try to think about it while we're doing this review. But obviously it's really bad that you've had low energy this entire time.
Το Hanzo είναι από πίσω μας, βασικά παίζει να μην είναι από πίσω.
So that's great. So you put up the bubble and you walked into the fire strike. So that was a good play. So let's see if you can start building up your energy faster or more.
Έλεγα θα κατέβει να με φάει.
Okay, so actually I don't like that bubble. She was clearly hiding. Maybe you could have waited a little bit longer for her to peek out or just look for someone else to bubble. So instead what I would have liked for you to do is actually just walk closer to her to act as like a meat shield. And then, keep pushing forward. Or actually, yeah, keep pushing forward. Okay.
Ryan hack, Rhino shield.
Nice hook. Oh, okay, good.
What the fuck?
Okay, so let's talk strategy about Hanamura. Hanamura is one of those maps where I think it's really important to attack from different angles. You guys are all going through the low ground, which is not my favorite. What I like to do is to send maybe like 3 people on the right side to that right room, and then like 3 people on that left room. On the far left side. Yeah, that's generally how I like to approach it, depending on the comp. So good. So this now you guys aren't doing the low ground. The low ground's okay for when you're coming from like point B, or sorry, from point A, like you just capped it and you're looking for like a quick snowball into the next point. So like what you guys did the first time, that was okay. After that, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That being said, it's okay to send like 1 or 2 people through it. But like, sending like 4 or 5 bodies, that's pretty much not okay. You know what? Maybe the problem is that I'm trying to think more about the Zarya bubbles of yours, and I'm starting to think that the problem isn't necessarily so much your bubble usage, which actually I'm pretty sure could use a lot of work, but it might have to do more with the comp they're running. Zarya is really good into like Roadhogs, Junkrats, Pharas, things like that. Maybe even like soldiers. But against characters like Hanzo, Reinhardt, and even Zarya herself, like Hanzo specifically, he has really pinpoint accuracy with his similar to Widow. Like his damage is infrequent, right? It comes out in like 1-second bursts, something like that. So if he sees a bubble, he's just gonna stop shooting. Whereas with like like a Junkrat or a Pharah or like after you bait a Roadhog left click, they don't have time to change what they're doing, right? So maybe the problem isn't so much your usage of bubble. It's just that, well, you're probably used to throwing out these bubbles and charging up yourself, but you have to think about it and be like, okay, this comp actually, like, I can't be throwing out these bubbles the way I normally do because it doesn't work the same way as a normal comp. Pretty much everyone on their roster can stop shooting a bubble really easily. So that's going to be my assessment of the situation. Yeah.
Have my ult.
Annoying.
Graviton Surge is ready. I claim this objective.
Just die. Yeah, that's fine.
I have my ult now.
I am not a good loser.
So maybe the key here is for you to get more aggressive and rely on bubbling yourself and looking for Reinhardt swings and any ambient damage from Zarya and whatnot. So maybe the key here is for you to just get way more aggressive and look for bubbling yourself.
Holy shit. Almost killed me again. Get out.
Back off.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man. Yeah, so if I were you, I'd probably switch. I think Zarya is just not working out here. Actually, I wouldn't actually mind a Reinhardt, and I wouldn't mind an Orisa. I wouldn't mind a Diva. Yeah, because we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, this comp just feels like it's not working. Could go for Graviton, yeah.
No, I mean,
Sombra. Oh, Sombra. That's a good bubble.
That's Klein, in a picture. Πάρ' το tick τουλάχιστον.
gotta get it.
Nice. I like this.
I'm coming with the MP. I'm coming with the MP. Hold them on the point. Hold them on the point.
Answer.
Nice. Okay. Screw you, Mercy. Alright, this is awesome because I get to talk about probably one of my biggest pet peeves in Overwatch. And this video shows it perfectly, and I'm really excited because I'm probably going to use this clip in the future. Okay, so this entire time, you guys were really struggling to get this point, right? Like, you guys were pretty much getting stuffed everywhere you went. Now, the question is, why all of a sudden did this work? And the answer is very simple. Their Reinhardt decided to push away from his positional advantage, and you'll see this on Defense Anubis, Volskaya defense, Hanamura defense, like we saw here. Pretty much any defense. And what you'll see is a player will be like, oh, it's the last 30 seconds or it's the last minute. Let's make sure we get this win. So I'm going to change everything we've been doing up until this point that's been working, and now I'm going to push away from our defensive advantage and burn an ultimate, like a Whole Hog, or an Earth Shatter, or a Graviton. And then guess what? You're out of position, your teammate's not there. If you're all on the same page with your teammates, okay, that's one thing. But it's solo queue, it's unlikely that your entire team is going to abandon their defensive position, follow you to make that ultimate work. So Reinhardt, he goes out, he gets an Earth Shatter, which was probably a good Earth Shatter, dies, his team comes, you Graviton them, and then the rest of the team has to come, and they did get a good Mercy res, but guess what? They're all out of position. You guys get on the point, clean them up, and then they lost. So the takeaway here is if you're on defense and you've been winning the entire time, and this is I've seen soldiers do this, but it's mostly a tank problem where they go out and they're like, "Yay, let's go win the game," and then they lose because again their team either had to abandon their position, their defensive positions, or they stayed there and you're by yourself, or maybe like one person followed you, and either way you're fucked. So the tanks will be like, "What the hell, team? Like we were winning this whole time," and then it's like, "Well, you're a dumbass and that was your fault." So great that you guys took advantage of that, but ultimately that was the tanks' problem. That was Reinhardt who basically just lost them the game. Cool. Or lost them the round.
Bro, έχω Zarya, Widow, γαμέ. Πρέπει να πάω στο δωματιάκι τώρα.
Big. We do watch that. Shield down.
Nice, you're at 100. Cool. Nice. Yep. Good. Nice. Oh, you almost got her. You missed that right click.
Shield down. Roll around. Monk discarded. Shield down. Fuck me, I killed him. What?
So,
Get off the break.
there's a Reaper behind you. You gotta watch out for that. So far your gameplay looks good on defense. Pretty standard here. You're not doing anything wrong necessarily. You're pressuring the choke. That's good. Pretty good with your bubbles. It looks like Widowmaker got a pretty crucial pick though, and then you guys lost. But still, I think your Zarya plays fine on defense. It seemed okay to me. Trying to think if there's anything you could have done better. Nothing's really quite jumping out at me. So we'll let this keep running.
I'm done.
That's a good res. Or sorry, a good Graviton. Nice. Well done. You gotta get on the point though.
Point?
No.
Hello? Down? Point?
Oh. So right here. Let's see. Right there. You clean up the fight. You won this. You tunnel visioned and you chased Reaper, as did the rest of your team. And you could have easily prevented that first tick. So right here, you needed to recognize that you needed to jump on the point. So this was absolutely your fault and also your teammates' fault. But when it comes to solo queue, everyone has to be responsible for this. Yeah, you had plenty of time.
Hello? Down? Point?
Oh, that's sad. That's just unacceptable. That shouldn't be allowed to happen. But it did, so cool. And if I'm being honest, that's probably the persons who I would blame the most are actually Reinhardt and this Zarya. It's absolutely your guys' job, the most out of anyone else, to collapse onto that point.
I blame the monks because they have gained without mercy. Point.
So this is how I would have liked you guys to be playing the map on offense, where you send people up top, and then you put people on the point or like from the sides, because yeah, like from so like what I had wanted was for like two or three people over here, 2 or 3 people over here, and like 1 or 2 people like over here, and then you do what they did, where somebody just gets on the point if no one else is on it, and then it relieves pressure from over here, because then people have to drop down, or like healers who are in position have to then get on the point, which makes it harder for them to heal the people that are on the ledge. So again, this is how I like my attacks to work, where you divide it up instead of just sending like a whole bunch of people up there. And as Zarya, it's kind of hard for you to do that. You kind of need your teammates to do that, but you can try to coordinate with them and be like, "Hey, Sombra or Tracer or whoever, let us know when you're going to go on the point, and then we'll push at the same time too." And at higher levels, that kind of communication even becomes unnecessary, because everyone knows that they need to be doing that kind of stuff. So it just kind of it becomes instinct, and you can just look at the arrows on your map to see where your teammates are, and then base it off of that. Okay, so I think I've seen enough of your video to wrap up my commentary. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to do more. So Zarya, on offense, I feel like that pick wasn't really working out. I would have liked to see you switch. The only reason you guys got the point in the first place was because of, like I said earlier, was the Reinhardt. And yeah. So maybe you could have considered switching, or like I said, or just maybe consult some Zarya videos, some high-level Zarya gameplay, and nice pick, and seeing about how to bubble in situations like that. I think my gut says you're just gonna have to get way more aggressive and rely a little bit more on on bubbling yourself to get more energy. Cool. Now let's talk about your defense, Zarya. Your defense, oh nice. I like this. You're just shoving this with this Widow and not letting her ever get into position. So she's probably gonna switch now. So good on you for that. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, your Tracer play looks great. Cool. What else? And this is kind of how I like the offense to work, where you're doing these flanks and you're pushing in from the back. You're more likely to get kills. Okay. The next thing is, right, your Zarya defense. So, it seemed good, especially on point B, or sorry, on point A. And even on point B, I think it was fine. It looks like you had enough of your team and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to play DPS. But on point B, or on point A, it seemed fine. It looks like your teammates had just got picked from that Widow. Not a whole lot you could do about that as a Zarya player. So I would say for this game, maybe you could have considered switching a little bit earlier to something else. Like in this case, you switched to Tracer. I think it's a good pick that's working out so far. So your Zarya play seemed okay. And Zarya used to be a character that was really good like in almost any situation. But that's not the case anymore because of some of the tweaks they made to her and also some of the buffs they made to some of the other tanks. Actually, yeah, like D.Va, right? Because D.Va used to be quite weak. Probably D.Va specifically. And, just everything's changed. The meta's different, so she's not really like a pick that you can just always throw into your comp anymore, which I think is good for the game. Okay, I think that just about wraps up my video. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help with like specific Zarya stuff, but I feel like this is actually not a good video to show me in terms of like improving your gameplay, because I think Zarya just wasn't quite the pick you needed here. So. Anyways, yeah, I think that about wraps it up. I hope this video was helpful.